Hi everybody, this is Frankie from Bosque Mobile Bicycle Repair. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install slime sealant into your bicycle inner tubes. This is for bicycle tires with a tube. This does not cover tubed tires. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you, there's two main types of valves on a bicycle inner tube, and that's Presta and Schrader. I know there's like a third one out there, I believe in India, but we're not going to cover that. So I'm going to be showing you. So this is the Schrader. This is a Schrader valve right here. Sorry about that. I got the other Presta valve in the way. Okay, so this is a Schrader valve right here. You got a close up on the table? Okay. On the close-up? Okay. So this is the Schrader valve right here. As you can see, it's the same as a car tire. So this is what most people in America are familiar with. This is the Schrader valve core. It is smaller than a Presta valve core. So it's very tiny. This is a Presta valve, and this is a Presta valve core. The Presta valve core is significantly larger than the Schrader valve. So it's longer, and this is a Presta valve that has a removable valve core. All Schrader valves have a removable valve core. Not all Presta valves have a removable valve core. This one's really loose. I could just take it off, and it comes off. But I'm going to show you a Presta valve that does not have a removable valve core. Can you see this one pretty clearly? Okay. So yeah, this is just, you can't insert sealant into it. This doesn't have a removable valve core. I can't take it off. It is what it is. So if you do have a tube that doesn't have a removable valve core, then yeah, you can't put sealant in it. This one doesn't even have the notches to where you can put a tool on it. So I believe that's how you can, most of them that don't have a removable valve core come, you know what I mean? So let me get this out of the way. In order for you to, the easiest way to put sealant in a Presta valve is to use these adapters right here. These are, people are very familiar with them because they don't, they have a hard time finding a pump that can, most people own a pump that for like a car, so they need an adapter. So this is a Presta to Schrader adapter. And I usually take off the seal on it. They do come with a little seal. I take them off. I just use a pick to take them off and just take off the seal. That way the tube for the slime can engage fully onto the adapter. So okay, still on that. You still on the close-up? Okay, so yeah, these are the little adapters. I'm gonna leave them there so you can see them for a couple seconds. Keep moving them around. Okay, now I'm gonna be showing you the tools for to remove the valve cores. If you have a Schrader valve core, you can go into pretty much any automotive store and buy a valve removal tool. I got this one at an automotive store. It looks like a screwdriver, but it's just meant for removing valve cores. So it's a very simple tool, and it's like if it was just a post and you just put a little hacksaw in the middle and cut out a piece of that metal. Now, if you have a Presta valve, Presta valve and you want to remove the Presta valve core, you have to buy a tool that's specifically made for that. It's a bicycle tool. You're not going to find it in an automotive store. And these are the tools right here. This one's made by Ice Tools. Right here, this is a Presta valve, and it has a Schrader valve core removal. So when you buy, it's a bicycle specific tool. So you're gonna have to buy go to a bike shop or buy it online. This is the Park Tool VC-1, and this can remove a Schrader valve and a Presta valve core. So these are these are specifically made for for removing them. Now you can get away if you don't have a tool to remove a Presta valve. You can use a little mini pliers, but you're gonna have to finesse it. You're gonna have to get in. It's gonna be a tight. It's gonna be more difficult to remove it, but you can do it. So this is what I used to use for my own bike. So okay, so we got the pick. These are some. You're gonna need some tire levers. I like this one from Bontrager. It has like a little round tip. I don't really like this brand, but I like their tire levers. So that's about it. This is one made by Pedros. This is the Speedier tire lever made by Crank Brothers. It's pretty good. Once you get the hard part off, you just use. If it's not a difficult tire to remove, recommend this. You can buy slime tubes. Tubes that already have slime installed in it. If you don't want to go through the procedure, but they do have that option. But sometimes they're hard to find your size. Walmart sells them. But anyways, okay. So this is the. I usually buy this size bottle of slime. It does have a Schrader valve core removal tool on the top of the bottle. So the cap has a built-in Schrader valve core removal tool. But I don't like using this because it can break. If the Schrader valve core is installed like it's very tight, it can bend, it can break this plastic piece, and it can get stuck in your Schrader valve. So I don't like using it. Mostly automotive tires, that's when it's over tightened. With the Schrader valves over tightened. So I know a lot of people who try to use this on a car or moped, and they got frustrated and it doesn't work. In order to use this bottle, there's like a safety seal underneath the main cap. It's kind of like a pill bottle. So just remove that. You're gonna need the tube on the side of the bottle. After you're done using and inserting your slime, make sure to put the tube back because you don't want to lose this. They don't just sell these tubes in the store, so do that. For a normal size bicycle tire, you're just going to insert 4 ounces of slime into the tube. The measurements, the recommendations are on the instructions on the bottle, and there is a level indicators. Can you see this? Okay, so there's indicators on the bottle of how much you used, ounces. So 4 ounces. I've been doing this for a while, so I just guesstimate. I don't recommend putting more than 4 ounces. Sometimes if you put a little bit more, it's not too bad, but you don't want to put too little because it's not going to clog the holes in your tire. Just get a feel for it. You'll know how much it is. I want to talk to you. So slime has fiber materials in it. Let's get a close-up of this slime right here. So as you can see, it's kind of like this is dried, so it's not that great of an example. You can put like some fresh stuff on there, but let me see. But so it's like fibrous, you know. So that's what clogs up the holes. But it can also clog up the valve hole while you're inserting it into the valve. So you just got to be careful. If it starts getting difficult to insert the slime, remove the tube and kind of use a pick to take out the fibrous material blocking. But be careful, of course. You can use something a little bit more duller than that. Sometimes a Q-tip works good, but yeah, that is it. Okay. So I'm going to be showing you. So this is just a little. So this is the valve core. We're going to be doing a close-up shot, and then I'm going to do the whole procedure. So this is the Schrader valve, and I'm going to be removing it with the valve core removal tool. And so it's kind of notched. You just want to turn it until it's placed over that valve core. And this is lefty loosey, righty tighty. So counterclockwise will unscrew it. And this should not be on there that tight. And in order to reinstall it, you just put the valve core back inside. I like to, push a little. You're not going to use a lot of force with this because it's a very delicate valve. But I like to turn a little bit to like one rotation to the left. That way the threads get seated properly, and then I turn to the right or clockwise to tighten. And so we're just finger tightening it. And I'm using 2 fingers. Boom, just two fingers. That's it. And just like 1 Newton meter, just a force, just a little bit of force, not that hard. If to check it for any leaks, sometimes I put my finger over the valve. You could put your ear near there, or you can use some soapy water in a spray bottle. Just put some dish soap, hand soap in a bottle and mix it up with water and just spray it on there. Or you can just get a little cup and mix soap and water and just throw it on top. If you see any bubbles, then you know air is escaping out of your valve. You should check your valve if you have a flat. If you keep getting like a slow leak, that might be the cause of it. Now let me show you with a Presta valve. We're going to keep the close up. It's okay. So take this out the way. So now I'm going to use this special bicycle tool to remove the Presta valve. So this you could see it. It's like a circular. If you look at the top view, it's kind of circular, but it has like flat sides on the Presta valve core. So it's a good idea to deflate it before you remove your valve core. And get a close-up of this right here, this tool. So you can see it's kind of, like flat. So you just place it over the valve core. Valve core tool. Let me see. Actually, you should deflate it and then screw this in. So you just do that. Oh, it's not inserting in there. Technical difficulty. I'm going to use this other one. Ice tools. There we go. Let's see. Okay, so you just unscrew it. And bada bing. The same thing with this. You need to, you just use 2 fingers. Don't screw it in super tight. Check for leaks with soapy water. If you tighten it too tight, you're going to damage the seal. So there's a little tiny seal on there. And if that's damaged, it's going to have a slow leak. So, okay. Alrighty, so we could zoom out now. Can zoom out, or do the wide shot. Do the wide shot. Okay, medium wide shot in the center. Okay, or the the one that can see me. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, with the slime, just shake it up. That way you mix up the fibrous material. You know, make sure it's all shook up in there. I had some dried slime in there, so I actually I unclogged it with a 5mm tool. I just like pushed out all the dry slime, and this one has a little bit in it, but this is the one I cleaned right here. So I'm gonna unscrew the cap, and when you put this tube on, make sure it's fully engaged. Push down hard, that way it's seated all the way down. I'm gonna put this in the close-up shot. That way you can see what it's supposed to look like when the tube is engaged all the way. Got it? Okay, cool. I don't need that. So, because you do not want this popping off, because you're gonna get sprayed with slime. Trust me, I've done it. If you have to squeeze that hard to where that tube comes off, then there's a clog. The valve's clogged with the sealant. The fibrous material has clumped up in there, and you need to unclog it. So I shook it up, and I'm gonna go over here. So this one this is my bicycle tire right here, my rim. It has a Schrader valve. Gonna take off the cap. This is a slime cap, by the way, because you can tell because it's green. It also has a Schrader valve a removal tool on it, but I've never used it. I'm gonna get my Schrader valve tool. I'll use the part tool one, I guess. Actually, I gotta deflate the tire. You can use your finger and deflate it. It takes a long time. You can use your nail if you have nails, but I use a 5mm Allen key to deflate the tire. I use the ball end, because if you use the square end, you have to put it in there straight. So I just use the ball end so I could do that at an angle. Gonna do that. I'm deflating this. Squeeze the tire to get out all that air. Squeeze that tire. And then I'm gonna use the Park Tool VC-1 Schrader valve removal tool. Yeah, that valve core is in there tight. If it's in there that tight, what I do is I get a pair of pliers to hold that valve. Yeah, see, that's why I don't like using the cap, the plastic cap, Schrader valve core removal tool, because if it was that tight and you use it, it's gonna break off that piece of plastic, and you're gonna have a probably not gonna be able to get it out. But yeah, so yeah, that was on there extremely tight, and I did not install this. This is a brand new tube. So, oh yeah, before I forget, get a rag. Get like a little rag, anything, cut up a t-shirt like I do, and kind of wrap it around that valve while you're unscrewing the valve core. That way you do not want to drop this little valve core, because if you drop it, it's going to disappear. Just joking, it's not going to disappear, but if you're working in the grass or rocks and dirt, or maybe you're going to have a hard time finding it. So I wrap my little rag around that area so I can catch it into the valve core. And I would get like a little bowl or dish, and make sure you put it in there, that way you don't lose it. So, okay. I like to put the valve when I'm inserting slime in the, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock position. 3 o'clock position, I guess slime recommends you put it in the, I don't know, like a little bit higher, closer to the 12 o'clock. I don't do that. I put it like right here. But yeah, when you're make sure you insert this. I should do it. Can you see this, the valve? Yeah. Okay. You close up on it. Okay. I'm gonna try to stay steady. Okay, so you're gonna this tube is specifically made for Schrader, so it sits pretty snug on there. So I'm gonna, and so like right now I'm having an issue putting that tube on. It's because it's going, the valve is going back into the rim. So what I do is I get my thumb, or I could push it up against my shirt. I don't want to mess up my good shirt, but yeah. So, and I put the tube on. But of course I got to do this in the more, a little bit lower. Hold on one moment, I'll bring it back up. Bring it back. So I got to, you're on the wide? Okay. So you want to engage that on the over the threads of the Schrader valve. Okay, so now I'm bringing it back up to the 3 o'clock position. I keep the tube, the bottle pointed down. You don't want to make sure there's no kinks in that tube, because you're going to be like, it's hard squeezing it in there, and it's because it's kinked, the tube. So I put one hand on the bottle to squeeze, and I put my other hand holding the tube onto the valve, over the Schrader valve. So then I squeeze, and you can see it flowing. Do this in a well-lit area. There's little black dots or beads in the slime, so you can see it kind of flowing. And to squeeze it, I don't want to put too much. Gonna put too much in there, but if it becomes difficult, it may be clogged. The fibrous material may have clogged the Schrader valve. It can also clog the nozzle from on the cap. So you'd have to take it off. Take off the tube. Inspect the valve. If there's a lot of little fibrous material, get a pick. Then pick out the material, but be delicate. I would use something duller, a little piece of metal, I don't know, wire, like file it down. I wouldn't use a stick. So use a stick if you have to, but you don't want to break it off in there, and just pick out the fibrous material. If it's clogged in the cap of the bottle, take off the cap and inspect it. Flip it upside down, make sure there's nothing clogging the cap. So that's the con of the bad part of using sealant, is it can clog your valve. Okay, so then now I'm going to reinsert the Schrader valve core. Just going to place it in there. Just push it in there. This is me. I like to turn it one full rotation to counterclockwise to make sure it sits in there properly, and then begin turning clockwise to tighten it. Not going to tighten too hard. Boom. That's what I do. Wipe off the slime. Use a rag. If you get any slime on your rim, clean it with soap and water. Use I have a spray bottle with soapy water, and a spray bottle with clean water. Wipe it with a clean rag. Wipe it with a clean rag, and because you do not want to get slime on your rim and then get slime on your brake pads. If you have a bicycle with rim brake pads, If you have a bicycle with disc brake pads, that's less likely to happen if you get slime on your rim, but you should just clean it off. You don't want to get slime on your bike. Just clean it off with some, like a little bit of soapy water. You know, I get soapy water right here. So just spray a little bit on the rim. And just like wipe it off. Spray it with some little bit of water. There you go. Keep your rim clean, because that slime is sticky. It's just going to attract dirt. You know. Now then you pump up your tire. The amount of pressure you're going to put in your bicycle tire depends on the tire. It's the pressure rating is located on the side wall of your tire. In America, we use the unit of pressure called PSI, which stands for pounds per square inch. In other countries, they may use bar. I think in Europe and everywhere else they use bar. And there's what KPA or KPG? No, it's KPA. Yeah, KPA. I think you guys in Australia use KPA. And see, so yeah, just pump it up to the correct pressure rating. Make sure you have a pump with a gauge on it. I like to have a pump with a gauge on it, or you can use just use the pump and then feel it, and then use another type of pressure gauge. I got one made by Toe Peak, like a little pressure gauge. But yeah, the pressure rating is going to be two numbers separated by a dash. The smallest number is the minimum. The biggest number is the max, and it should have the acronym PSI near it. That way, it shows you don't. You can tell the difference between the ETRO measurement and the unit of pressure or the pressure rating. But the ETRO numbers are going to be way larger. One of them is going to be way larger than a PSI rating. So that's how I do that. I mean, let me see. I guess I could pump it up to show you guys just a little demonstration of how I pump up a tire. So I'm going to pump this up. What I do is I pump it up just a little bit. And then I inspect. I break the tire away a little bit away from the rim, just to make sure that tube is not in between the rim and the tire. So this is just called massage. I call it massaging the tire. So I'm just making sure that the bead is seated properly and the tube is not pinched. Make sure your valve is straight. It's not crooked. Because if you pump it up and it's crooked, it could break the base of the valve. So don't do it. Make sure it's just pretty straight. You know, it looks normal. So that's what I do, and I'm going to pump it up. Pump it up. After you're done pumping up the tube, especially if you have a flat, let me put the cap back on. Put the dust cap back on. This is just a dust cap. It doesn't hold air. So I know a lot of you are like, oh my gosh, I gotta put the cap on. You're not gonna die if you don't put the plastic cap on. So if you have a puncture already in your tube, spin the tire immediately. But what you gotta do is you gotta spin that tire fast, especially if you have a hole. That way it clogs up. So what I'm doing is that slime is coating inside of the tube. But if you don't have a puncture in your tube, you don't have to worry. I mean, you still have to spin it to coat it, but it's not like you have to do it real fast, you know, after pumping up your inner tube. That's a mouthful. So yeah, I've done some emergency repairs on the bike path, and somebody has a small puncture, and so as soon as I pump up that tire, I'm spinning it. I'm like, hurry up, and I'll tell them, jump on the bike and go ride. That way they coat it, and it clogs that hole that they have. But yeah. Another thing I want to talk to you about is this happens a lot. Is the sealant can clog your valve? Like I said, it can clog your valve. Not only when you're inserting the slime into your tube, but like I guess over time it can clog. I don't know. Maybe if you park your bike, my theory is if you park your bicycle and the valve core is on the bottom, it can build up right there, the slime, and kind of maybe dry up or something like that. That's just my theory. Well, then again, it might sit at the bottom of the tube, but anyways, I've seen people have a tire that was pumped up, and it was low pressure, and then they tried to pump it up. But they tried to pump it up. No air was going in. Sometimes there was a little bit of leakage coming out of the valve, or there was no air coming out of the valve at all. So I'm going to show you how to unclog it. And you're going to need, of course, the valve core removal tool, and you're going to need a rag. Trust me, because I've gotten sprayed in the face by unclogging a clogged valve. So you're not going to use a pick to unclog it. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it. You might damage it. It's just because you got to really get in there. So what I do is, and this has happened before, I've taken out the valve, but like I said, you're going to need a rag. Wrap it around just like when you're to prevent the valve core from falling and you catching it. You kind of wrap the rag, any kind of cloth rag, even a synthetic rag, around the tool, the valve core tool. Take out the valve. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm just demonstrating. And then you can sometimes it'll shoot out like a lot of air. It'll break the clog and it'll shoot slime out. Sometimes you'll take out the valve and there's no air coming out. Or there'll be a little bit of air coming out. Slowly you'll hear it hissing or little bubbling of slime. So if that happens where there's a little to no air coming out, take out the valve. You're going to take out the valve. You're going to get your pump. I would use a bicycle pump. Don't use an air compressor for this. You're going to engage the pump. And then you're going to, of course, wrap the rag around it, your pump head. Give like 1 or 2 pumps. And that's going to push in the fibrous material into the tube. It's going to pump it up. It's going to break that clog. But as soon as you take off that pump head, it's going to shoot out a bunch of slime. A lot of air is going to come out. And you're going to need to wrap that rag around that pump head and the valve. And when you're taking off that pump head, keep that rag over, like close it, you know what I mean? Because a bunch of air is going to come out, and you want that slime to shoot into the rag rather than, you know what I mean? Rather than, just everywhere on your rim and everything. It's still going to get some on your rim, and clean it off, like I said. Clean it off. Okay. But that's how you break a clog on your valve core. A lot of people don't know that, and a lot of people want slime, but it's that's the because then they start they don't get a flat, but they're having trouble pumping up their bicycle tire. So that's what I'm trying to say. How are we doing on time?
Good, we got 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay. 10 minutes. Okay, so let me get this off. I'm just going to do a quick demonstration with the Presta valve. It's pretty much the same thing. I recommend you do this in your bicycle because you do have to spin the tire while you're you know, after you insert the slime, you got to spin it. So get a bicycle repair stand or flip your bicycle upside down. So the procedure is the same for a Presta valve. Take off the cap. You're going to deflate the tire. Do you got a close-up of this area right here?
Let me zoom in.
Okay. Close up. Okay. So I'm gonna unscrew the little nut right here on the top. It's on the valve. It's connected to the valve core, and I get a rag just to just in case there's slime in there. Don't spray on me. So you just push it. It's easier to deflate these than a Schrader valve. Now there is an adapter on this rim, just in case anybody says anything. There's a it's because this rim is drilled for a Schrader, and I put a Presta tube in there. This is just for demonstration purposes. I didn't have a rim drilled for a Presta valve. Okay, so now I got all the air out. Now I'm going to remove the Presta valve core. Kind of hold that valve because I guess this one's a little stuck on there too. Yeah, it is. Now this tube already has slime in it, so that's why it's kind of a little difficult to take off, because the slime has kind of got on the threads and dried up. But anyways, I removed the valve core. I'm going to use the adapter, the one with the seal removed. So yeah, there's a seal on the part where you screw it onto the Schrader valve. I mean the Presta valve, whatever it is. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, it's this way. I don't use these that often, so or hardly any. Let's see, I'm having trouble. Yeah, it's kind of clogged up right there. Yeah, this sealant can get pretty nasty, you know. Let me see here. Where's my pick at? Yeah, see that? If you let that slime dry up, it can be clog up stuff and get on threads. But having some trouble with this valve core adapter. It's just the right way. No, actually, I think it's this. No, it's not that way. You can tell I really don't use these. But anyways, you screw this on there, and it's just the same procedure like you do with a Schrader valve. Let me see, this is pretty clogged up. Huh, no way. Yeah, anyways, let me, but if you don't have an adapter, kind of low on time, so I don't want to fiddle with this. But if you don't have an adapter, you can still get away with just putting the tube over it. But you got to squeeze, like use your fingers real tight on that, over that valve. That way you don't spray everywhere. It's still going to leak a little bit, but it's not going to leak that much. You just got to, I mean, if you got good finger strength, do that. And like I said, get the Presta valve, you know, after you're done doing that, I would actually clean out the threads try to get a little Q-tip in there or something, and or scrunch up a little cloth, clean out the threads inside. Gotta clean the threads on this too, because this has slime on it. Put this on there, and let's see here. Tighten this, like I said, finger tight, clean the rim area, and after you pump up the tube and spin it, get some little bit of soapy water and check for any leaks. Just spray it with some soapy water. If you see any bubbles, there's a leak. Maybe tighten it a little bit more, or sometimes you might have to take off the valve core. Of course, be careful with the slime. Use a rag and clean the threads. Make sure the seal's seated on correctly. Little things like that. Even the seals, if they're damaged, they can leak. If they're not seated up, if they got moved around, they can cause a slow leak. But basically that's how you put in insert slime into your bicycle tubes. You want to we got the white shot. Got the white shot. So that's how you insert slime into your tubes. I know it's a very popular product. A lot of people ask me about it. It's I sell it because people want it, but it's not a long-term solution. To me, it's a temporary solution. I highly recommend you buy quality puncture-resistant tires or Tannis Armor. Tannis Armor is a real good foam insert, foam liner. I mainly recommend that for like big knobby mountain bike tires, or fat bike tires. Bicycle tires that are 3 to 4 inches wide. So that's what I recommend Tannis Armor for. Everything else, if you need a multi-tread, and it's another size, I'd say go with a puncture-resistant tire. Like Schwalbe Marathon Plus, Kenda Quick Drumlin tires, Continental Contact. I think Plus they have Plus at the end too. But anyways, I have a specific video on puncture-resistant tires. It is my most watched long format video. Check it out. But anyways, I gotta go. Check out my website, www.bosquemobilebicyclerepair.com. Let me get got my sign right here. That way I don't have to edit. So www.bosquemobilebicyclerepair.com. Check it out. I'm on social media. I'm on 15 different social media platforms. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Well, it's X now. Mastodon, Blue Sky. You name it, I'm on it right now. So YouTube and TikTok are my popular ones. But anyways, I got to go. Have a great ride, everybody. Ride safe, and I hope you learned something. Thank you very much. Cut.